Welcome back. Homeless at Home is a live poetry and music performance by well-known poet Mak Manaka, collaborating with Malcolm Jiyane and the Alexander Choir. The event is also a reflection of his personal journey wrestling with his physical disability and trying to be at home with his own body. This will be staged on the 20th of October at the Joburg Theatre. Mak joins us now this morning to share more on his show. Mak, a very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning, Morena. How are you?
Very well. How are you, sir?
Excited to be alive, excited to be breathing.
Yeah.
Happy to be here, man.
We all are.
Yeah,
all right.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the title of the show itself. I mean, it grabs one attention. Why Homeless at Home?
Well, I mean, you know, the concept of homelessness, the understanding of being at home and what home means as well. So this is I don't want to say poetic, but an introspection of sorts, you know, in when one looks at one's own self and when one thinks of home as a place where one belongs. You know, and when one feels uncertain of that space, it becomes, you know, whatsoever. I mean, to be homeless, my brother, you know, is to sort of have a place where you don't belong, where you don't feel safe, and you know, and yet you are at home.
Yeah.
You know, so the home also not only just as a physical space, but also as a as some kind of you know, your own self, you know, as Shakespeare would say, to thine self be true, you know, and many of us do not feel necessarily at home in our own skins, in our own languages, in our own bodies, you know, there is some disconnection with the spirit of home, as it were, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, the homelessness, the lack thereof, to be denied an access to yourself. So this play on words, but I mean, I like how it goes into where we are, and how many of us find themselves feeling right now, especially after the COVID, my brother. The pandemic exposed a lot of homelessness, you know, and exposed a lot of how much we still need to work on as a people, you know, and you know, I mean, the concepts are similarly very much directly linked to landlessness. The issue of land will always be, you know, this issue it's an issue. This, you know, when you feel displaced, this is a serious issue. And now, can you imagine when you feel displaced in your own self?
You know, I quite like the fact that you are highlighting, and rightfully so, that home is not just the four walls, it's not just the structure, but there is a social construct into that. You know, I always tell people that some people are so poor and so broke that all they have is money. Because there is a different element to it. And the title of this show could be interpreted differently to each one of us. But what issues will you be highlighting in your performance?
You know, dispossession, you know, theater of the dispossessed. You know, our art needs to, you know, since art is an integral part of a people's culture, it addresses our social, our political, our economical and emotional needs. So a lot of the poetry will be addressing that, especially given that it's a negotiation between music, choir singers, you know, the choral aspect of South Africa, of Africa, you know, the harmonious melodic four-part harmony, you know, and of course the poetry. I mean, look, for me, poetry is the articulation of the human condition. It articulates our conditions. It articulates conditions period, whether happy, sad, whether apolitical or unpolitical or political or social or structural or systemic, it articulates all of these issues and it goes direct to the point. And I think it's whatever it's well, I mean, for me, I feel like it's an extension of myself, and it's a reflection of who I am. And I as well. And I don't want to say, but people must come and celebrate, but rather people must come and remember. And as kile Mak umele ka kefa phukutse mphahlele, as kile mokoni wa ntshidikgolo mailwa go phalwa, right? In ko seretong sa ka khonale ba mokone ba re ba tlogele ba utshege when you look back, because go tshetsela morago so tshaba go tšea steam, and I think we need a moment we need that kind of a moment within ourselves and with ourselves as a people, and also yourself involved more than anything else. So the poetry will go directly there and unbox a lot of these and be straightforward, man, and be honest, and attempt to be very truthful, but more than anything else, to be sincere, because we are dealing with sensitive issues, and that is why the show is free, because I'm asking people for their consent. What has been on my chest, and I can, the poet observes, the poet looks, the poet is always there, the artist, if anything.
Mac, just listening to you, I'm getting a sense that this event will be, there'll be so much depth, and it'll be attended by deep thinking people. So why is it important for you to put this show together, that you will be collaborating, I understand, with Malcolm Jiyane and the Alexander Choir? I mean, tell us more about their contribution to this show.
It's a collective contribution. It's a collective effort. It will be attended by all manners of people. It needs to be attended by everyone, by all of us. I mean, even myself included, because the poetry now, once it's out of me, it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to all of us. So when with Malcolm Jiyane trio, Malcolm is able to articulate some of the issues that one raises in my poetry, and he's able to do that with music, and with sensibly and sincerely so too, and it's very rare to find to find people of my generation, of my time and my age, able to play music that is almost nostalgic of a South Africa, that reminds you of true South African sound, if such a thing really does exist. I mean, when you are far, you remember home, and you remember home through sound and music. I want to draw that connection. So the choral aspect of it is an extension. Ntate Kgositsile once said that a poem aspires to be a song, and as such, I work with melodies, I work with rhythms. There are melodies and rhythms and meters in the poems. So to stretch that and sort of, I mean, it's not just only my show, man. It's our show more than anything else.
And it's our show, and hence it's free, right? I heard you say it's free.
Hey, and hence it is very much free.
So is it going to be a walk-in event, or people are expected to buy tickets which are for free, of course? I mean, to get tickets which are for free?
Well, people are expected to actually RSVP, and there are walk-ins, of course. Everything is allowed. Everything in poetry is allowed except for this. We must improve upon the blank page. And this is difficult. Actually, And this, I doubt it's possible, but we will attempt this. When it's a blank canvas. To be honest with you, my brother, I really am excited, but I don't know how it's going to go down and how it's going to work out. The only thing I know is that we will be there to remember ourselves and to hold each other.
I like that. I like that. The fact that we are there to remember ourselves. My director is fighting with me to wrap the interview, and I'm just in awe because it felt like I'm listening to a poetry session. All right, Mak, lovely chatting to you, man. Hope to see you there. Hope to see you there.
Yes, please. It's 7:30.
All right. Unfortunately, we have to go. We have to go, Mak. Thank you so much for joining us. There we have it. Mak Manaka featuring Malcolm Jiyane and Alexander Choir will take to the stage for the one-night-only lyrical and poetic journey, Homeless at Home, on the 20th of October 2022 at the Joburg Theatre.